You want to burn the fish.
Yeah.
I
Calling the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. William's coming in.
Very good. Would Joan have a chance, would you be able to offer a brief invocation?
Oh, Lord God, we give you thanks for being here tonight. Be with all those who aren't with us. Guide us as we do our meeting tonight and also as we go out into the world and do good deeds and help others. In thy name.
Amen.
Our Rotary four-way test is...
Is it the truth? Fair to all concerned.
Will be beneficial to all.
All concerned? Yeah, better be.
Very good. Please be seated, folks. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, guests. Our guest, David Noonan. Welcome. Brief. We're starting a little bit late here, so I'm going to try to be brief. And our reports. Secretary report. Our secretary is missing tonight, but I know she did send out minutes of last week's meeting electronically. I think just earlier this morning.
Yes.
Treasury report. We have money again.
If you want to see how much money, I put it written down here.
Okay. It's on the plus side, though.
Way on the plus side. We're doing good.
Good.
We can pay our bills.
Membership. We don't have a full membership report, but I thought I'd put it down here on our agenda just to keep or raise the profile there a little bit of membership. As always, we welcome anyone who comes across someone in the community, friend, family, name, who might be interested in learning more about Rotary. And secondly, there is somewhat of a subset committee under behind the curtain. Sue and Lucille and I, among others, and we will be putting together a formal membership campaign program next year to formally invite some people in the community to attend, to learn more about Rotary. Et cetera, et cetera. So we'll be gathering names or putting names together and formally going out to people with an invitation, a written invitation, to probably earmark. I believe I've talked to Mike Johnson about September meeting.
What about at a
membership? Something to keep in mind.
But what about a fundraiser? You know how churches have a thing where if you're interested, you can sign up? But when we have a fundraiser, we could have something about Rotary, and if you're interested
in learning more, have someone contact me, yeah, a little card or a little.
we could do that when we have the Tony thing, you know?
Yes, as long as we put together the materials. Yeah, we don't have. One of the things we don't have is some documents. Well, not necessarily documents. We don't have a brochure to give away. We don't have letterhead. Lucille, you and I have talked endlessly about letterhead and envelopes even.
Well, I have
letterhead. We don't even have some of those kinds of
Did you
things.
have letterheads?
I make them on my computer.
She just doesn't customize.
I gave a bunch to Lisa the other day. There's envelopes
How
around.
about the envelopes? Where are the...
Well, there was a bunch of them I gave. A bunch of them I
You
gave.
gave them to me and I used them all.
Yeah, but I gave a bunch when Lois became secretary, a whole bunch.
Okay, well, maybe we'll see.
And I have a few, and I can do those on my computer too.
Okay. Well, we could talk about, but yeah, it would be nice to have some takeaway, some table information for our community dinner, for our Tony concert. Just to show people.
Well, even if it's just a card with
Yeah.
something about Rotary.
Yeah.
If you wrote up on something about Rotary.
Walter had a nice example a few years ago. That would be a nice starting point.
I think I've got that, but from Janet.
but I only have one copy, so we either need to reprint it or change the typo here a little bit and reprint it. But I don't want to move that into the meeting, but suffice it to say, we need to do a little bit more in terms of having some handouts. Announcements, events. Some of this is repetitive from last week, but I'm going to go over it again, just so everyone knows. Our Interact administrator over at the high school, Meg Giuliano, is working on RILE applications. I know she's had at least one, and she was earmarking a couple of other students. Our goal is to have 4. We're funding 4 students for RILE, so we're working on that at the high school. This weekend, Rotary Leadership Institute. I believe Bernie's already put together plans to pick up.
I'm going to pick up my date for Saturday.
Yeah, your dates for Saturday, right?
6:15.
First thing in the morning for Rotary Leadership Institute. That's down in Lincoln, Rhode Island. There is a Rotary Grants session, not only on April 2nd in Braintree, which I believe Janice Brown and Lisa were going to try to attend. This is also, and unfortunately I think, and it makes good sense, they're doing it in a couple of different places at a couple of different times. So there's something in Braintree on April 2nd. This is also, I'm just going to pass this around. This is down in the same, I think the same program, April 12th, which is a Saturday. So April 2nd, I believe, is a weeknight. And there's a Saturday down in Newport, it looks like, for the same grant foundation review. So if anybody feels like Saturday is better than Wednesday and wants to attend and spend half a day in Newport and then spill out the rest of the day and spend the rest of the day in Newport on a Saturday, that might not be too bad. I'll pass that along. We have our upcoming Tony D concert on April 4th. And I'm going to ask maybe Lucille or Joan, or you guys, maybe you've even talked, but I know you wanted, we ought to get an update on tickets, and we ought to get an update on raffle items, right?
I'll make this very brief, because I have to be nervous. We only have about 70 tickets sold so far, and we're just a little bit over 2 weeks away. Unfortunately, he'll be playing in Braintree this Sunday, which I'm going to, and tell the audience if they want to see him again, we're here. But anyway, and I've been in touch with, I think, everybody as far as horse and sowing seeds and Boys and Girls Club, and I haven't heard from anybody. So I'm going to shoot an email. Friendship Home. I covered them all, but they're not getting back to us. So I thought I would maybe ask Jack. I don't know. Well, you'll help me out with that.
Yeah.
Okay. But the other thing is, and I won't take the time now, but I was thinking about having a couple of raffle prizes. And my daughter, who's an OT at the high school, she said that what they do is, let's say they take a theme, 3 baskets, and whatever let's talk about. Maybe I'm taking a romantic night. Believe it or not, I'll have candles and stuff like that. But you could have a sports night, or a sports basket, or maybe a family fun night. I'm going to put that in an email. I don't want to take the time now, but
so themes.
A theme, right? So that one person isn't doing this whole basket, all right? So that if we picked, let's say we picked a night out in the harbor, so maybe we'd get pizza ticket, gift certificates, movies, that type of thing. So I'll lay it all out and I'll put it in an email, and hopefully we'll have a few prizes. Bernie has offered again to offer his services, right? And Jack is going to give us 4 to 6 on his boat.
Okay, boat run.
That's nice, all right? And then a box lunch. So that also will generate some income. But other than that, let's just keep our fingers crossed, and we'll talk about tickets again. You'll hear from me. All right, thank you.
So keep in mind, yeah, Friday, April 4th.
Friday, April 4th, 7 o'clock, doors open at 6:30.
And our capacity is 150, right?
Right.
I know, that's what we did, we had, it was 150 last year, yeah.
Joe?
Who do we buy tickets from, Lucille? Who's selling the tickets? You?
Me,
You're selling tickets?
the three of us.
We physically have the tickets.
We had them, I had them here.
Okay. I'll buy two. Put me down for two.
Okay.
So
Okay, Joe-
check me out
Joe's-
the Rotary?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Joe did an awesome job. She sold about 22 so far. And I have about, oh, I know, and I have 7 Angel tickets so far. So if they couldn't come, they gave me a check to
They
give
get
to
72
the other
sold.
kids. So that's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
Plus I'd like to do a basket.
lovely.
Karen and I.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Good.
Thank you, Joe.
Any kind of a basket you want to?
I'll give you some ideas tomorrow. I'll give
Okay.
you one of these, maybe right now.
Good.
So the Tony D concert's April 4th. We have our next Scituate Community Dinner at St. Luke's on April 27th, which is a Sunday. Joe Walter, we're talking a little offline on, still thinking about menu ideas, so if anybody has any ideas for menu items. But that'll be on April 27th. Then we also have our district conference down in Falmouth on May 2nd and 3rd. And I'm a little out of order here, I think. No, I'm not. The Ryle weekend is May 9th and 10th. And then just recently, and I think I shot an email around to everybody earlier today, as we did last year, and I guess in previous years, the district is asking us for community volunteer recognition. So anybody who, in the community who you feel has been an outstanding volunteer from, that you know of, it's, we submit the nominee to the district for consideration. So I'm going to pass this around too. As I said, I think I sent this around on an email earlier
You did.
today.
Yes.
With that, I think since Maureen's already given us the eye, why don't we break for dinner? And as is our custom, guests always lead. Joe?
But before we break for dinner,
Yep.
I'd like to, for the volunteer of the year, I'd like to throw out Don D'Angelo, because this is his last year.
Yeah.
As the DARE officer, and a lot of his work is volunteer work,
Oh,
picking
yeah.
the kids up on the plane and all that good stuff.
Well, you can charge admission for your speech.
You know,
That's a
so
good idea.
I think, as far as we're concerned, in our little group,
Yeah.
I think he'd be a great candidate. I'd like to nominate him.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, he's involved in lots of things.
Yeah.
And certainly,
He's a community guy.
Right. Not even so much with the DARE program, which has been phased out, but he does. Every single kid who's gone to Scituate schools has seen him be the DJ at whatever.
Right.
The Girl Scout father-daughter dance at evening. So. Anyway.
I got a 40-year-old daughter. He knows her first name every time he sees So that's how far back he goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He knows all the kids.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
It goes back. So why don't we now break for dinner? David, please start us
I
off.
will defer to the lovely ladies on the floor. I've just come from the dentist, so I'll do last. Thank you for the honor.
All right. Announcements tonight. Raffle tickets. Lucille's going to send an email around.
Yes.
Try to remember to sell Tony D tickets. That's
Please.
really our next fundraiser, and our probably one of our last of
I know.
this program year.
Oh, wow.
So we want to work on ticket sales. As always, thanks to Mike Johnson, even though he's not here, for all his help putting together our schedule and our future schedule. He seems like he's always shooting emails all over the place or making phone calls. And So I wanted to send out a thank you again, and a happy birthday to Shannon as she's filming now. I would also mention, just to think about, we've touched on it in the past, we've got to move forward and probably make a commitment and think about phone book pretty soon. If you just, I'm thinking out loud here, if we decide that we want to try to get something done and be done, say, in the fall, October, probably got to start pretty soon. So, phone book, Tony D tickets, community dinner, etc. All these events that we've got floating around to sign up for, and it's great that you both do those things. All that having been said, does anyone else have any other business before I introduce William? So we want to have our own William Clark tell us a little more about how things have evolved with our sister city, Susie on Brie. William.
Susie and Brie is a village, small town, south of Paris, approximately the same distance as Scituate is south of Boston. Their population right now is approximately 28,000 individuals. And this was from the 2006 census, so it may be a little more, a little less. Scituate's population as of 2010 was 18,000. Scituate is much broader in geographic area than Susie, but the features of Susie and Scituate are very similar in terms of woodlands and that sort of thing, irrespective of the whole land size. Both Susie and Scituate are connected to their major cities via commuter trains. Their commuter trains are part of a grand system that serves Paris and outlying communities through the northwest, southeast of Paris. Ours, unfortunately, is a bit more limited, but we have the ability to get into our major city by those means.
Yeah, that's it. You see what you do? Because we can up now, but.
On Barclay.
Okay, this is the mayor. Yeah,
Do that again. Yeah, give us one.
Oh, that was good, right?
No, the other way. No, the other way.
To my.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, this is the mayor of Susie Hungry. Today is part of her second term. And they do not seem to have difficulty electing women to high office in Susie. Matter of fact, their Rotary Club is heavily populated by women. And when I was there in 2011, the president was a very wonderful woman by the name of Brigitte Freda. Okay, and all right, this is the Susie has different sections that are quite integrated. They have the historic Old Town, and the historic Old Town is basically a walking area. No cars are allowed. Let's get back now. So the streets are very narrow, and so they do not allow cars there. And so the shops and so forth that are along the street tend to be preserved from hundreds of years ago in terms of the buildings and so forth, and even the general look, frankly. You can see the old man in the on your right there at the forefront of the picture. I like to think of him as basically about the size of the people who were populating Susi when these shops were much more in their natural state. This is further along on the street. The Scituate Susi Committee met with the mayor for the first time in the restaurant, which is up on the second floor. And it's pretty much stepping back in time. There are elements of the Bark and Aberrant that give you some memories of that. But this place is very original. The rooms are small compared to American rooms. But it still has the same function, and a number of community members that were there and that were having their lunches and so forth around us as we had our meeting. Moving on. This is the tip of the hat to modernity. This is a small typical dress shop that you will find not just in Susi, but you will find in other villages as well. And you'll see a larger version of it in Paris itself. Paris seems to have many old streets that are very similar to what you see here. It depends upon the arrondissement, the district that you're in, whether or not you have the old architecture or you have the newer. And then this is towards the end of the historic district. This is a transitional area where they allow cars to come and go. All of these buildings are it's a mix of buildings from the past couple of centuries up until more modern times. This is the front of Susi's church. The walls are made out of fieldstone, and it has a tower to the right there, which I was not able to get in this picture. Here is the interior, and it's very, very old, dating back approximately 5 centuries, and it has that old smell in the air, that kind of slightly moldy smell in the air when you go in. These were the small village churches, and they were fairly simple. The designs were similar to the basic designs of the big cathedrals, but these are fairly simple. But they took upon themselves the architecture with the high arches and that sort of thing to make people feel that they were in a special place when they came to worship. And now we're looking at Susi's Pride and Joy, which is an old chateau that was owned by a group of people in Paris, and they would come down to Susi to hunt. And so the original building, in the forefront you see a gate that was part of the wall that protected the chateau. And after the revolution, of course, the wall was torn down and so on. The building was abandoned for quite a long while, and it had a fire. And so Susi in these times are basically restoring it because they're using it as a cultural center. Mainly for music, all types of music. They hold various classes there. They hold concerts. They're ranging from chamber music to jazz. This is the back of the building, and it has some condition problems because they have a high water table there, and the water is wicking up to the stones and through the stones, and as a result, the paint and so forth will not stick. And you have to be very careful about the wood structures inside because those will just deteriorate rapidly. And here's a quick snapshot of the remnants of some of the really antique buildings. As you can see right here, we have a building that's the old wattle and clay and timber construction, much like what you see in the movies about England. And this building here is an old blacksmith shop. And behind it is a more modernist building from approximately the 18th century. Next, now this area here is the beginning of this common. And it's a fairly long common. As with our commons, people use them for their picnics together and so forth. At the far end is this mansion, which once belonged to the doctor and his family, and is now the site of the CC Historic Club. Just some common elements of architecture there. You see how they use stone quite well. We have a lot of rocks here, but very few buildings do you see that are made with this sort of design and detail. Next is what I call a transitional home. It's an old farmhouse, and they've modernized it by putting in these large, almost greenhouse-like windows and so on. This is fairly close to the common as well. Yeah. These are apartments and condominiums built in buildings that fit the 1800s more so than they do now. There are in other parts of Susie the glass and concrete buildings that we're familiar with here in the States, but they're sprinkled about. They don't dominate in any one area. And this is the very end of that part of the town, which leads out of the historic district and into other areas of the town. One place that it leads to is the post at Seafort for the defense of Paris. They're stationed there, located near the Val de Marne. And so Paris had a string of forts in its suburbs to hold back invaders. And since he was one of the recipients of the fort, now it serves as the Vintners Club and their cellars. And it also serves as the gun club's shooting range. And I was a guest there. I did us proud, so. They even gave me a badge. The detail to which they went to welcome us and to let us know that we were special to them was incredible. Here you see planting a tree symbolizing the enduring pact between Scituate and Sea. In addition, all about the town, there were American flags hung to welcome us, and the establishments that hung the flags were establishments where they were hoping that we would come in and visit them so that they would be able to talk to us about Scituate and so forth. It was a nice touch, a really nice touch. And then I have to include this one. Let your mouth water. This is the Rotary Club of Scituate, their meeting place. So at the Chateau du Maréchal de Saxe, and it's one of the few surviving major chateaus in the area. The grounds are incredibly large, and there are a number of outbuildings and so on that have been converted by the hotel as satellite units of the hotel. And I think for a basic room, somewhere in the neighborhood of $337 a night, and then it goes up from there. And that room is within the main building. So what I would like to do is have Shannon, birthday girl Shannon Harrison, who actually visited Susie through the Sister City Agreement a few years or so ago, and she's just going to tell you her impressions of it from the impressions of the young people that we would like to see have that experience. Shannon?
Thank you. So I went on the French exchange. I went on the French exchange trip in 2006 with the Scituate High, and it was actually the first year I think the sister relationship was officially created. So from my experience, I still speak with Roxanne, who is my student. I know a friend who went back to Susie studying abroad in college to see her family, and she actually went back to the Lycée Christophe Colomb, which was where we shadowed our students for the day. And their school was really interesting because it's more of it's a public school, but it's also with a vocational focus. So they had shops and their theater. I remember their theater room being really impressive, and it was very hands-on. But I will say that I think he mentioned the size of everything was definitely something that stuck out for me. And it also stuck out for Roxanne when she came to America. I remember she was saying, everything is so big. And I mean, my house, I wouldn't say is particularly big, but to her it was. And then when I went to her house, like her house was probably physically smaller than mine, but so many rooms and just definitely a strong European style. And I felt very lucky because for us, our day trips were to Paris, we went to Euro Disney, we went to Normandy for 3 days. So I felt like, because I grew up around here, I kind of felt like they didn't get to experience quite as much as we did, because while Boston is amazing, I think they went to Newport, so they did get to see a lot, but I just felt so much. I just was in awe of everything that I saw, and I went at a young age, and I just remember thinking I am fascinated by how different everything is from taking the public bus to school. I remember thinking Roxanne was so much more exposed and older than I was, and we were the same age, but it was an amazing experience to see a different culture at such a young age. Since then, I've studied abroad. I went to New Zealand, and then I went to Thailand and taught English. So it really helped me. I was fascinated. I wanted to know how everybody lived after that. So I encourage anyone who can to go on the trip. It's so well organized. It's an amazing experience, and Susie's a beautiful town. And France is really an amazing country, and everyone on the trip was so welcoming. So I have nothing but positive things to say. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I might add that Shannon is considering becoming a Rotary member, so one of the positive outcomes of that.
So, William, or Shannon, are we formally doing an exchange every year with Susie?
No. Last year, we did an exchange through Jamie Gilmore for a student to go to Spain. That was sort of a rush job, if you remember.
Yeah, but maybe, my question is, does Scituate,
Scituate, the community.
do Scituate kids go over to Susie every year, or does Susie?
It's every other year.
Every other year, yeah. And what was it, 2 years ago, actually, they brought over a group of seniors so that they could see what Scituate was like. And very wise move, because they were basically seeding the parents for why you want to push yourself through this experience. So the parents now know what their kids see, what they experience, and so many more parents are probably much more likely to approve and support their kids coming here. This is a good segue into what I would, and Mike Johnson has spoken to a number of you about this already, but I'd like to propose that what we do is a hybrid model of student exchange, combining that with our already established high school scholarships for students doing humanitarian projects, and that the exchange be through Rotary's 3 to 6 week exchange program. Rona Mann will be here in a few weeks to give us further details and developments about how that works and how that has been going.
Well, she's going to be here next month. Sometime in
April? Yeah.
Yeah.
First part of April, I believe. And so thinking about my experience talking to Shannon and having the experience of one of the seniors who came over, they made it a very strong statement that they wanted to see some of the people that had come over, me being one of them, because they had felt a connection. Now, for us, that's nice, that's wonderful, and it's something we bathe in every now and again. But for the young people of the day, it's the beginning towards a new perspective, a new world perspective. And the world has gone global, and if you allow it, if you're much older, it just leaves you behind. From my perspective, I think it's important for us to help young people, to prepare young people to be able to step into the new and developing reality with some confidence. And why with some confidence? Because they are the ones that will be the future members of Rotary Club, Scituate, of the towns, and so forth. And so to give them, using the old Western term, give them a grub stick so you can get out there and find that gold. I think it's quite important. And I think it's important because we're in an era now where young people are quite curious about the world beyond their local communities. They're quite curious about where would they like to live to foster a career. And they certainly want to take advantage of the idea that if I become, say, a certified public accountant, like my son, he can live anywhere in the world and have a good job. All he'll need is a translator, possibly. Okay. Offering that kind of future to our kids and within the structure of Rotary's philosophy and Rotary's activities, I think is a way of putting a gold stripe on the future for those people that we say we want to move forward and to continue Rotary in a viable form after us. It's too late this year to be able to do something like this, but I would say that if the club finds it acceptable we want to begin planning to be able to do that for next year. The package that I have is this. We have students who, at the high school, who submit different projects, do different projects for our scholarship. The people that are the winners, of course, get the normal scholarship for support. I would also like to see us have select out of the group, or depending upon the financial status of the club, the group itself, $1,000 stipend against airfare to be able to go to a variety of sites that we have set up some sort of communication with and agreements with. I suggested Sioux City because Sioux City is very easy. We've already done it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel there. In terms of Spain, I don't know enough about the details of that, but I assume that we have the same situation with Spain. And the return, the benefit for Rotary on the backside is this. Returning students come and speak before the class of seniors. They speak before us about their experiences, and they, through us, begin preparation for connection with a college or university Rotary Club. So in effect, what we are doing in a very soft way is growing our own. We're able to pass on what we've learned, what we know, in a way that is, one, concentrated so it's useful, and two, in a manner which is acceptable so that it does not feel too directed. Part of Shannon's interest in Rotary has just been sitting here filming our meetings and becoming familiar with what we are and what we do, and so on. And so I think that were we to embrace this model, it would allow us to expand what we're already doing, allow us to refine what we're already doing, and allow us to have the results that we just would not, we had not had, I say reluctantly, in the past. This is the 21st century, and I think the club needs to follow along on the 21st century review of what we can do that is above and beyond where the past has led us. In my opinion, the past is useful as long as it speaks to the challenges, to the necessities of today, because that's where we live. And that which does not work, we archive it because it may work later on. And we do the best we can here in this present, and we try and build a bridge by what we know in the present to the future. And since the future is just a wish and a dream until we really step into it, we at least step into it with tools that we would not have had if we had not gone through this process. So it's about growing the club in a unique way. It's about serving the community in another unique way. And it's about perpetuating Rotary at the grassroots level in a manner that they prove being useful to Rotary International itself later on. It's up to the board to think about it, and then, of course, on to the whole club. But we're not under the rush that it has to be done today, because this will be our project for next year. So that's about it. The stepping into Paris and then stepping into Sucy for me was stepping into a new and very pleasant world, which made me think about where I come from. And made me think about how where I come from, I can make just a little bit better because I saw some very useful stuff over there that we use. Yes.
Quick question, how did we choose this place? How did that happen?
Sucy was chosen through the efforts of Patrick Hart and others during those early student exchanges, and I think they were much more centered around the French language and allowing an immersion experience for French high school students, particularly those who show real promise. And over the course of those exchanges and those conversations that Pat and others had with people in Sucy, they decided that they'd like to formalize it. Now, Sucy only has two sister city relationships. One is with us, and the other is with a small town in England. So, you know, we have an important, we're an important part of their focus. And not only are we an important part of their focus because the French government is behind funding some of these experiences for the advancement of its own country. You know, it's an important relationship, and it's something we can learn from. And maybe, just maybe, showing the successes that I think we can have, we will get some recognition from the town, and that recognition from the town may be in the form of some financial support, if not financial support, some cultural support, if you will, that is equal to the sort of things it does around and about the town for different events. So I've gone over, and forgive me for that, but that's about it.
Good. Very good.
I'm sure William would be happy to answer any other details as we break. Does anybody have any other business before we make a motion to close the meeting?
Second.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned. We'll see you next week.